the truck driver who solved his own murder case. Daniel Brooks wasn't famous, but in his small hometown of Marlow, Kentucky, everyone knew him. A 46-year-old long-haul truck driver, Daniel had spent more than 2 decades behind the wheel, carrying goods across state lines. He was known as dependable, hard-working, and fiercely loyal to his family, his wife, Linda, and their 2 teenage sons. His co-workers at Interstate Haulage Company called him the Iron Man, because he could drive for hours without complaint. But beneath that strong exterior, Daniel had recently been feeling unsettled. His wife later recalled how, weeks before his death, Daniel confessed, "Linda, sometimes I get the feeling someone's following me on the road." At the time, she brushed it off as fatigue from long hours. But Daniel's instincts would prove chillingly. On a rainy Thursday night in March 2017, Daniel loaded his rig in Louisville with electronics destined for Nashville. It was supposed to be a routine haul, just like hundreds before. But somewhere along the winding interstate, Daniel's truck went silent. When he missed his scheduled check-in call, dispatch grew concerned. Hours later, state police found his 18-wheeler, abandoned by the side of the road, engine still warm, headlights on. And Daniel? He was nowhere to be found. 2 days later, joggers discovered his body in a wooded area 15 miles from the interstate. He had been shot twice in the chest. His wallet was missing, but strangely, his expensive wristwatch and wedding ring were still on him. This wasn't just a robbery. It was personal. Detectives initially suspected a random highway crime. Truck drivers were sometimes targeted for quick cash by drifters. But soon, details emerged that made Daniel's case different. The killer seemed to know Daniel's route. There were no defensive wounds, suggesting he trusted the person who killed him. His truck's GPS showed an unscheduled stop at an isolated rest area shortly before the murder. The big question: who lured him there, and why? Now here's where the story takes its eerie turn. Linda, grieving a home, started going through Daniel's belongings. Inside his glove compartment folder, she found a worn-out notebook he used for logging mileage and expenses. But on the last few pages, Daniel had scribbled something unusual. In shaky handwriting, he had written, "If anything happens to me, check Brian, check the warehouse deal." Linda froze. Who was Brian? What warehouse deal? It was almost as if Daniel knew something was coming, and was leaving a trail. Detectives now had their first lead. They learned that Brian Hensley was a fellow truck driver at Interstate Haulage, and one of Daniel's closest friends. But co-workers said the 2 men had recently fallen out after a heated argument about side jobs involving off